On this day, August 22, 1485, at the Battle of Bosworth Fields, the English Civil War, known as the War of the Roses, came to an end as Henry Tudor defeated King Richard III of the House of York. The notorious Civil War, which inspired Game of Thrones between the Red Lancastrians and the White Yorkists, had been raging for 30 years, ever since the Yorkists had turned on King Henry VI of the House of Lancaster due to his mental incompetence and England's inability to win the 100 Years' War against France. Henry was so mentally incompetent that his wife and her fellow nobles were the ones who led the defense of the Lancastrians, who were repeatedly defeated until Henry was unseated by the Duke of York's son, Edward, who became King Edward IV in 1460. Edward spent most of his reign trying to consolidate his power. He was briefly unseated by Henry in 1470, only to be returned to power a year later. Edward probably had Henry and many of his allies murdered before consolidating his power and dying in 1483. He was succeeded by his young son, Edward, who was put in the Tower of London along with his brother for safekeeping by their scheming uncle, King Richard, who probably had them murdered so he could become Richard III. Richard was immediately challenged by Henry, a Lancastrian, who defeated him at the Battle of Bosworth Field before marrying Edward IV's daughter so that he could knight the two families into the House of Tudor with the red and white rose combined, thus ending the war.